back on the road again, heading to Virginia to do some hiking this week. Now, Pennsylvania is actually closer, but for anyone that has hiked the AT, they know that Pennsylvania is known as Rocksylvania. Been there, done that, and it's not like I won't do it again sometime, but it's not my idea of fun. So my go-to state is Virginia. But what I'm doing this week is different than what I normally do. I usually hike either the Virginia Triple Crown or the Three Ridges Mahar Loop. It depends on whether I'm going to do a multi-day hike or an overnight. But this week I'm heading to the Grayson Highlands. And I don't really have a major itinerary. I'm using that as my base of operations, as it were, and I'm just going to hike around the area between Grayson Highlands and Mount Rogers. Hopefully there will be wild ponies, which is what Grayson Highlands is known for, and hopefully we'll see some nice sights in addition to the ponies. Whether this will make it as a posted video or not will be up to Maggie, but she is kind of looking forward to editing another video, so there is hope. Anyway, I am on my way. I'm looking forward to this week. See you later. Look at the mountains off in the distance. You certainly don't get scenes like that driving in Delaware. Good morning, everybody. I am at Grayson Highlands State Park. I just parked at the backpackers parking area, and I'm on the spur trail leading to the Appalachian Trail. You might be able to hear it's a very breezy day, but it's sunny, which is nice. And I'm just out and about for a few days of exploring the Highlands and hiking the AT a little bit. No real major plans. We'll see whatever we see, and a new day begins. When I hiked the Highlands on my through hike, it was an overcast, socked in day. Could not see anything. I'm still on the spur trail, but definitely better than my through hike. Hopefully more views up ahead. I've been back on the AT for a little while. There's a spur trail going down to parking. Some rock formations that I certainly did not see my first time through. I actually went no-bow for about a half a mile or so, trying to find some ponies. This is the area where I saw them, a lot of them, the last time. In this area here, and then in a little bit on the spur trail. Now I'm going to head southbound for a little while, probably to Mount Rogers, and well, we'll see what we can see. First time through, I probably couldn't even see much of that rock formation or this view. have some more off in the distance. The trail goes around that way, so hopefully they'll still be there when I'm closer. Back up the hill, I thought there were only 4 of them. But there's actually 5. When I was through here on my through hike, there were no ponies in this area at all. They were all at the other end. But this is a big park, so they certainly can roam all over the place. Just glad I'm seeing them on such a beautiful day with beautiful surroundings. Well, fortunately, I'm not that big. And I'll be coming by in the opposite direction tomorrow. Not too bad. The one thing is that it is wet. I'm sure sun doesn't get down here to dry things up very often. As we enjoy this flat section of terrain, I stopped a little while back and met my first 3 class of 2026 through hikers. I asked them when they started. They said February 1st. 3 young men. 2 of them don't have a trail name yet. The third one is Bowie, like a Bowie knife. Bowie and one of the other young men is from Georgia. And the third is from Pennsylvania, so he is familiar with Rocksylvania. Something to look forward to. The through hikers that I passed were very excited to have passed the 500-mile mark. That is definitely a milestone for them. So here it is, and good for them. So I just got back from the summit of Mount Rogers. And there really wasn't anything to see. It was all wooded in. And there were a couple of guys there having lunch, so didn't want to disturb them and take an image of the marker, because that's the only thing that indicates that it's the summit. But anyway, I'm heading back to where I'm going to stay this evening. You can see there were plenty of blowdowns here. Some of them have been cleared and some of them have not been cleared. And I'm not going to go over or under that. I'm going to go up that way. So, got to put my phone down for now. The view from Mount Rogers may not have been anything, non-existent, but this is quite a lovely view. And that is the water source for the shelter I'm staying at. This is my humble abode for the evening. See, my stuff is set up there. When I did my through hike, I did not stay here because I stayed at the Wise shelter in the Highlands. But I did stop here to get water, which is basically behind the shelter down the hill at a piped spring. And even though I don't currently need water, I did hike down there to check it out to see if it was flowing, and it is, which is pretty nice. But here I am for the evening. The sun is setting beyond the mountain. Good morning, everyone. Usually the camera's facing me when I say good morning, but why look at me when you can see such a beautiful sight? And this is right behind the shelter. Certainly I showed it to you yesterday, but this is what it looks like when the sun has come up. Although interestingly, the moon is still out. You might be able to hear the wind. It's supposed to be a windy day. It's supposed to be a good day. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go. Whether I'm going to go north or south. I'll probably head north a little bit past the Y shelter. That'll take me through Grayson Highlands again. Hopefully see the ponies again. And no major itinerary for this week. Just have some fun outdoors. How can anyone ever get tired of this? Anyway, I just left camp later than usual because, I'm not in any hurry. But sometimes things happen for a reason. As I was leaving camp, or packing up anyway, a guy came in for a break. Now he's obviously been hiking for a while. Younger guy, trail name Ricochet. He's already a triple crowner, meaning he's done the Pacific Crest Trail, Continental Divide Trail, and the AT. He's basically doing it again. He's the second triple crowner that I've met, and that's always very, very cool. And we were talking for a little while, and I joked that he would go blowing by me after his break was done, and he said he's not really a fast hiker, but he's not averse to doing 15-hour days. So he will get up at like 4 in the morning and start hiking. He's basically a 2-mile-an-hour hiker. Not that I have any desire to hike 14 hours. Doing 2 miles an hour is definitely something that makes me feel good because I can definitely do that. So I just came in that gate, so I'm back in the Highlands, Grayson Highlands. Now, I'm not at Grayson Highlands State Park. That's a different thing altogether. But once you enter the Highlands, and there is the 500-mile mark again. Once you're in the Highlands, you never know whether you're going to see ponies or not, and where you might see them. But you never get tired of ponies. Yeah, I'm doing a video going downhill. Not something I normally do. This is the first time I've hiked this section of trail going northbound. On my through hike, I did this section at Sobo, and truly doing the same area of the trail in a different direction gives you a brand new experience. Really quite enjoyable. Figuring out my footing, a wonderful thing to do. Not too bad. As long as I don't speak too soon and end up falling flat on my face. All right, not bad. Back through the Fat Man Squeeze. To go through it or to take the route around? What the heck? It's fun. My first pony sightings of the day. I am on the Wilburn Ridge Trail. As you can see, it is a blue blaze trail. I came from that direction. The AT is down there somewhere. Since this trip is a little bit of an adventure, I'm supposed to reconnect with the AT in about a mile. But if you can see the blue blaze up there, there's a reason why it's a ridge trail. I'm going to be climbing up to the ridge. I'm actually going to go back. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's windy as can be. And last thing I want is to get blown off the mountain. I'm just out here having fun. On a calm day, I absolutely will continue on, but not today. Maybe another time. Safety first. The difference in the wind being off the ridge line is amazing. You can still hear it, you can still feel it, but it's not really pushing you around like it was higher up. Onward and downward I go. So the difference between my aborted climb up Walburn Ridge and being back down on the AT is I was getting chilly climbing up the ridge, and of course the wind had a lot to do with that. Now I'm actually getting hot. Trail conditions can change very quickly depending upon where you are on any given trail, and you got to be prepared for it. One of the things that gets day hikers and even some overnight hikers in trouble is that they come prepared for one type of weather, and then if conditions change very quickly, they are unprepared. Ricochet was telling me there was a day hiker that had to get rescued in the Smokies this year. He got caught in a sudden change in temperature. Temperature dropped like a rock, and he got hypothermic. He was not prepared for how conditions can change. There are a lot of joys in hiking, but there are also risks, and risk management is part of the game. So this is Walburn Ridge, and I have no idea where that Blue Blaze Trail may have come out. But that gate, when I was doing my through hike, was closed. Clearly, with it open, the ponies can access the Mount Rogers National Forest area, which is beyond the fence, and this is Grayson Highlands State Park. And the ponies that I saw this morning might have been the group, or two of them, that were in that thicket yesterday, but clearly they were farther up the trail than I've ever seen ponies before. So that was pretty cool. Going to continue to head south, head north. I might stay at Wise Shelter. I might go beyond. Like I said, this is just for fun and games. We're going to see what happens. Even though I'm still in Grayson Highlands State Park, you'll notice the fence here. My guess is that it's to keep the ponies on the other side, although I've never seen ponies down at this area. I actually came through a fence a little while back. But Still part of Grayson Highlands State Park. So I just came through another one of those gates. It's not really a gate, but it's kind of a zigzag. People can get through, but horses can't. So I came through, and what do I immediately see? But horse manure. So the ponies or other horses have definitely been through here at some point. This is the Wise shelter. It's where I will be spending the night. It is the first shelter if you are heading south that's in Grayson Highlands State Park. And of course, it's the last shelter if you're heading north. You are not allowed to tent in the state park. You have to stay in the shelter. But just a little farther north, you're outside of the park and there's plenty of tenting area. But this is it for me for tonight. Now, tomorrow I will be heading back south towards the parking area. There is a loop trail that supposedly leads to a waterfall. And I like a good waterfall, so that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Well, I haven't seen any ponies out this far, but I have seen some manure, so I guess they occasionally do. But that's why they want you to not just close the gate, apparently, but lock it behind you too. Interesting. Because they have a little chain and nail. I'm just doing a little exploring because I'm actually settled down for the day. And I hear running water. And I see some running water. So just doing a little bit of exploring. So here, entering National Forest area, beyond that bridge, you can tent. And this is a very good source of water, if I needed any, which I don't. I don't remember when I passed through here, but I bet on the other side the sign says no tenting beyond this point. Yep. Well, I'm going to head back to the shelter. But as anyone who has watched any of my videos produced by the wonderful Maggie Neal knows, I love hiking near the sound of running water. There was no rain in the forecast today. As you can tell, I'm in the shelter. And I don't know if you heard it, but there was definitely a sprinkle. How much more there's going to be, couldn't tell you. But I'm glad I'm under a roof. Where I am at the Wise shelter, I'm about halfway between Marion and Damascus. Marion is about 30 miles north, and Damascus is about 33 miles south. I did not notice this when I stopped in on my through hike, but this is actually kind of cool. So much of the trail is geared towards no-bow hikers, but to have this bit of information, Appalachian Trail southbound from Y Shelter, getting you to Damascus at last, is pretty cool. Good morning, everybody. Well, it's overcast today, and actually there's been a change of plans. Today's Wednesday. I was actually going to hike till like half day Friday, but I'm cutting it off early. There's supposed to be snow coming tonight, and while it's not supposed to be the most horrific of snowstorms, I'm concerned. I don't have a four-wheel drive, and I'm concerned about the backcountry roads that I'm going to have to drive on, whether they would be clear or not when I would be leaving. My original plan was hike today, hike tomorrow, hike back to the parking area on Friday, and leave. While I'm sure the main roads will be fine, like I said, the back country roads, which I'm on now, or where I will be on when I leave here, I want to be well clear of them. So I'm going to hike today, and then the snow is supposed to come tonight. I'm going to drive maybe 3 to 4 hours, get away from this area, get to main highways, get a hotel, and I'll be on my way home tomorrow. So an abbreviated adventure, but an adventure nonetheless. As you can see, I'm all packed up and ready to go. There are actually two very nice young ladies that stayed here at the Y Shelter from William and Mary. They're on their spring break. One young lady said she's a senior, so she's going to be graduating. Congratulations to her. The other young lady is a junior. It's got another year to go. As always, a new day begins. So here's a little bit of trail and a little conversation while we walk. Not last night, but the night before at the shelter, the two older guys, my age, that were staying there, were both named Steve. And they are no-bows who hope to make it all the way to Katahdin. Now, one of the Steves happens to be a trail maintainer for the Foothills Trail. The Foothills is in North and South Carolina. So, comparable area, terrain-wise, to the Appalachian Trail. And they also experienced Hurricane Helene in 2024. Trail maintainer Steve was saying they're worried about wildfires this summer. And that makes perfect sense. All the trees that were toppled by Helene, whether on the AT or the Foothills Trail or pretty much anywhere along that corridor, have been drying out since 2024. They are potential kindling for fires, and there are a ton of trees down. So I'm just hoping no one does anything stupid to accidentally start a wildfire, because they can happen naturally enough in lightning storms. But a campfire that was not put out correctly can smolder and come back to flame long after the hikers have moved on. So that's hoping everyone is very, very, very careful this hiking season. If something happens because of Mother Nature, well, that's unavoidable. But human error is inexcusable. I've never been a fan of steps. Give me switchbacks any day. More steps. But on the plus side, the lovely sound of rushing water somewhere down below. I can see it, but I don't think the camera can really catch it. Onward I go. This is not the Appalachian Trail. This is the Macy Gap Trail, and I'm taking it and parts of a couple other trails to take me to what is supposed to be a waterfall, and I like a good waterfall. Thing about the Grayson Highlands. The Appalachian Trail goes through the Grayson Highlands, and part of that, of course, is the Grayson Highlands State Park. But the state park itself has, I don't know, maybe a dozen trails. Some of them connect to the AT, some of them don't. And I'm going to do a little exploring on some of those trails today. This is the beginning of the Cabin Creek Trail. It is going to take me to waterfall. You'll also notice these trails here. They are for horseback riding, although Cabin Creek is not. Oh, a little bit of green tunnel action. Definitely worth the side trip. Got more to go. The trail goes up. I was wrong. Even though there are stairs heading in that direction, this is the trail. The yellow blaze. I don't know how well you can hear me over the sound, but I'm just sitting, taking a nice little break. Enjoying the Cascades. They're not the biggest waterfalls, but still very enjoyable. I'll tell you what, that pool right there, if I had sore feet, that would be a great plunge. Just take off my shoes and socks and soak my feet. Moments like this are what it's all about. This is a nice little section of falls. I'm actually hitting it downstream. The falls aren't as visible as upstream because of the foliage, but still very nice. If you take a look at the state park map, you'll see little indications for these types of shelters. Obviously, they're not sleeping shelters, but they're little rest shelters. So if you want, on a hot day, if you want to get in out of the sun and take a little break before you continue on your hike. I'm heading upward now, at least for a little while. I'm not sure how far. Well, the Cabin Creek Trail is done, and I'm heading back to the parking area. It's interesting, on the state park map, Cabin Creek Trail is labeled as difficult. And in all trails, the route is marked as moderate. And that's what I would go with. Now, moderate for people that are used to hiking. I mean, there were ups and downs, but nothing too difficult. Certainly no rock scrambles. Down near the Cascades, there were stretches of the trail that were wet and potentially slippery. So, you just had to be careful about your footing. But any experienced hiker is going to do that. So I think moderate was a good call as far as all trails is concerned. But if you are, a day hiker and you're just out and about for, to go see some waterfalls, and you're not really used to hiking, then yes, it may be a little difficult, but definitely doable. It was absolutely worth it. So this is a challenge for this year's thru hikers. There's a section, you can see it, the red part from here to here, that is closed because in addition to the Appalachian Trail, you also have the Creeper Trail, which was heavily damaged by Hurricane Helene. And apparently they're doing the rebuilding of the Virginia Creeper Trail. So this is the detour. And the reason why that's the detour is because as you can see, there's a parking area here, and I'm sure there's a parking area nearby, well, right there before the blockage begins, the closure, I should say. So since you really can't get, you could hike the AT up to Grassy Ridge, but you wouldn't be able to get from here to here. So, every year is different. Every year is a challenge. That's why the official mileage changes from year to year. My year was 2,197.4. I had to think about it for a moment. But some years it's a little bit more, some years it's a little bit less. All I can say is for this year's class of hikers, happy trails and stay safe. This is an overlook as you drive into Highlands State Park. I'm leaving now, of course, but very, very pretty. You can hear some maintenance going on behind me. Hello everyone. Well, clearly I'm not on trail. I'm in a hotel in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is roughly halfway between where I was hiking and home. And I did that to avoid the bad weather that's coming tomorrow. Now I'm still going to be in the bad weather driving home, but I'll be driving home on major highways as opposed to backcountry roads. They're predicting a few inches of snow. Back where I was, the precipitation equivalent was just shy of an inch of rain. Now convert that to snow and it's a decent amount of snow. And I did not want to be driving on backcountry roads. I did not know how quickly they would be cleared, and I had planned to come home on Friday. Now, when I was first planning this trip, I knew there was a chance of snow for Thursday, and I thought, I'm not going to worry about it. But I'll tell you what happened when I was driving to Grayson Highlands State Park. The last hour of the drive is on nothing but back roads. Now, some of them are pretty typical back roads that I might find in Delaware, but they're in the minority. The majority of the roads, you're going up, down, and around mountains, so they're very curvy. When they tell you to take the curves at 25 miles an hour or 15 miles an hour, you definitely take them seriously. Some of the outside edges of the road, as it were, have guardrails or had guardrails, but some of them didn't. And that made for some pretty interesting driving. Coming around one turn, a tight inside turn where the inside edge did not have a guardrail, I did a quick look over the side, and there was a car that was flipped over. Now, this was clearly a car that had been there for a while, but it had missed the turn, went down, and flipped over. I have no idea how long ago it was. Don't know what happened to the person, whatever. But that made me think, you know what? You don't want to be on those roads if they're uncleared and you don't know how quickly they get to the back roads in that part of Southwest Virginia. So, just playing it safe. I will be driving home in rain tomorrow, possibly mixed with snow, but at least I will be on interstate highways, and hopefully that will be better than back roads. So this is probably the last video for this hiking trip. Sometimes I show a little bit of the ride home. If conditions allow, I may do that tomorrow, but if not, I'm going to keep my eyes on the road and both hands on the wheel. So if I don't video tomorrow, it was a fun, if somewhat short, hike. I had a really good time.